how's it going, guys? Welcome to Audio Addiction. We have
Hello.
Milfoil with us tonight, and they can say their names, what they do, and all that jazz.
All right, I'm Josh. I'm the bass player of Milfoil, and I also do the mixing and stuff.
Hi there, I'm Joe. I'm the lead vocalist for Milfoil, and I sing and stuff.
All right. I'm Alex. I am the guitarist and a backup singer, but I also do a lot of the, practice and gig planning and all the background work as well.
There we go, setting up everything. But the first question, guys, is the most important one. I'm sure you get asked it a lot. Is how did you start Milfoil? How did you guys all meet and collectively form Milfoil?
That's an Alex and Joe question.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to start?
So it goes way back to high school. We had one friend who wanted to start a band. We were going to be called Black Bishop. We were going to be super edgy, and that didn't really follow through. But Alex and I still hung out and tried to practice a bit.
Sure.
I was playing drums and singing, and he was learning guitar at the time. We had known each other in school since 5th grade, doing band and stuff together. And stuff just started to click. We were writing more stuff, especially towards senior year of high school. We had a whole bunch of songs, and we kind of knew we wanted to have a band. And then we got to college and met Josh along with Pete and Jack, and kind of collectively formed.
There were definitely a couple iterations.
Kind of went through a couple different players. Had a saxophonist for a little bit, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, I remember seeing Milfoil before I was in Milfoil.
That's cool. And then how long is the current iteration been together? And I guess how is kind of the first practice, the first get together? Obviously you guys have known each other from college, but how has kind of the journey been thus far since you've had more of a collective grouping now?
It's been about 2 years, I think, since I've been in the band. I was a junior in college. I remember they did an acoustic show. It was Joe, Alex, and Pete, and I was just they were just in the music hall practicing. I'm like, what are you guys practicing for? They're like, we got a show. I'm like, you didn't tell me? And then I just kind of can I come? And they're like, yeah. And I showed up, and I was just the guy in the front row that's like, yeah. And then I remember not going to sleep that night, waking up, and then or that night asking if I was like, I don't want to ask, can I join the band? But I want to make sure that they know that if they want to ask me to join the band, then that's cool. So I was like, hey guys, just want to point out there, if you need a bass player, and then they're like, sure, we'll audition you tomorrow. And then I didn't sleep for some reason. It wasn't even because of stress. I just was like, yeah, I'm not gonna go to bed. And then I remember showing up to the audition, about to pass out. I show up with my 6-string bass for some reason because I was really into prog. And then we did the audition. I kept quoting The Shining for some reason, and then I remember we finished, and then Alex was like, they had a conversation without me, and they brought me back in. They're like, and then Alex goes, we all have to say yes for you to be in. And I was like, oh no, he said no. And then they're all like, you're in. And I'm like, yes. And then the rest is history.
More of a hard aspect.
We tried to make it seem very intense and legit. For sure.
And I remember,
it's not that hard to get into Milfoil.
No.
So.
Yeah, I remember. I give Alex shit for this all the time. I remember I showed up with my 6-string bass, and then the first question Alex asked me is, "All right, do you know the notes in the fretboard?" And I look at him like, "Yeah, yeah."
Yeah.
So it was
I was really new to music at the time.
The bassist we had before you, we were trying to teach bass at the same time, so we had to give you, we had to double check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good to have an experienced bassist. But that was basically the lineup. That's when I think Milfoil today, that's basically when it started. And we also have there was a point where Joe was on hiatus. And so
I took a gap year for a bit.
So what happened was I sang, and we have Jack was originally supposed to be the replacement drummer, but we sort of stayed as a 5-piece group now.
Yep.
because I think it works a lot better for like performances.
Sure.
Originally, I
Yeah.
was drumming and singing at the same time, and so the first album that we did, I was drumming and singing for that one, and we could perform live like that, but we just have way more energy when I'm able to be up and dancing and jumping around.
Sure.
And then Jack on the drums just brings a whole nother level to it. So it really worked
Yeah.
out for the best.
A lot of people think that the drummer on No Sharp Objects is Jack, but it's not. It's Joe.
But so bad compared to me. So
Well, I definitely checked out. I checked out Rose, and that's the reason why both Josh and I have our beanie Yoshis here, our yarn Yoshis. Just watch the video. Watch the video. It was in the video, so I felt like I had to bring it out. But I guess this is more a question for Joe and Alex: is how did you come up with the name Milfoil? Because I was like when Josh was like, "Yeah, I'm in a band called Milfoil," and I was just like, "What the frick is that shit?" Like I was just like, where does this come from? I don't genuinely ask this question because I feel like it's a little cheesy, but like I was genuinely just curious about like the naming convention.
Yeah, so
good question.
So I actually think we've got a lot more flack over this than we were all expecting to.
It's not.
I couldn't see why. Yeah.
Yeah. So so I didn't realize that this was such like a New Hampshire thing. I thought this was more like, at least New England. But
Okay.
milfoil is an aquatic invasive plant.
It's seaweed. Basically.
It's basically like a seaweed, but like it grows all over like the lakes in New Hampshire and like Maine and shit. So basically what had happened was, imagine me and Joe in just like this tiny room in college with a big whiteboard and just like listing off every single name, every single name that we could think of. I mean, we went through a lot.
Yeah. What were we called for a while? Sweet Dissonance?
I don't remember.
Sweet Dissonance for like a solid month.
We had a lot of really uncool names. But Milfoil was actually kind of supposed to be like a placeholder, but it really stuck. Like, I don't know, it just works.
Yeah. Back in summer camp, we used to always go like Milfoil and like throw milfoil at each other, and I thought it was really funny. So.
I like the name without like the bad context. Like if that's not what they think of, then I love the name. But if that's what they think of, then I hate it.
I was just more curious because, like I said, I saw Josh's thing. He's like, "Oh, basis for milfoil." I'm like, I was like, I live in New Jersey. I have no fucking idea what a milfoil is, and I was just like, I just need to ask this question just for my own consideration because I'm just like, is this gonna get flagged for YouTube? Like, I don't know what a milfoil is.
I tend to be of the mind that like any news is good news.
True.
So I think that like depending on where we go from here, like at least people are gonna be like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
They're at least gonna see it and like it'll catch their eye.
Yeah.
I just hope there's no like kid that's like listening to like wants to buy a Milfoil CD and their mom's like, no, you can't listen to that.
Oh well, I'm sure that's gonna happen because the internet. But also, I feel like this gives a little bit more clarification to what milfoil is.
Our first thing in our Instagram bio is just mil-foil. And our only shirt, like we told the artist to write like mill and then foil.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's a plant.
It is a plant. Well, I will put a photo of the plant on the screen so you guys can know exactly what it is.
Goofy. It's a goofy name, but it's better than like Revenge of the Fallen or whatever, or like something like the generic like deathcore band name.
There you go. Well, glad we could sort that all out on the internet for you guys. But the next question is another probably big one that you get asked a lot too. But who are some of your influences like early on that like got you into the instrument or doing vocals and stuff like that? And then who kind of influences you now more currently?
Alex, do you want to start?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess we can all go around. So for me, the biggest thing, like the biggest band that I had in mind when Joe and I had just started writing No Sharp Objects was Green Day. That was definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Back in I still listen to them, but like when I was younger, it was just all the time. Like that's all I would listen to. And then also Joe kind of got me into Weezer.
Oh,
So
yeah.
a little, same, like sort of like that, like 90s alternative punk rock. I love that energy. But I would definitely say those are probably my two biggest ones, especially in relation to how Milfoil sounds now.
Yeah.
Today, I mean, nowadays, like being a music major, my tastes are all over the place.
Sure. Yeah.
But I definitely feel like we're almost kind of going in like a emo vibe, but not like a My Chemical Romance, like a
I got
American
what you meant.
Football way.
Yeah.
Joe, Pete, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, early influences, like he said, the stuff that made me really want to be in a band was stuff like Weezer and Green Day. I don't know. I've been trying to look at more, I don't know, focusing more on vocalists now versus drummers like I used to. I've been really enjoying a lot of Slint. If you ever heard of Slint?
Yeah,
That's
Slint.
from
Yeah.
Kentucky. Just really getting into that kind of songwriting lately. That's like past couple weeks. But all over the place. I mean, I think the cool thing about Milfoil is we're really open to genre bending and just trying to just make songs sound cool. Try out different things.
Yeah, whatever fits, really.
Yeah, each one of us brings something so different to the table. I mean, when it was Alex and I, we had a very fixed sort of style of music we were familiar with, and then bring in Pete, who like has this like classic rock background,
Yeah.
and like Jack coming in with like these weird trap beats every now and again, and like the whole band just like brings in such a cool fusion.
Mhm.
So I think that's one of our biggest, cool things going on.
Josh.
For me, just in terms of like my general influences, I mean, I'm more of the metal guy of the band, which is kind of ironic because if you listen to our music, it sounds like Alex is the big metal guy because he's the one that like screams and has the heavy guitar chugs. But I'm like the metalhead of the band, I guess. I was really into the whole prog thing. That's how I know Kyle, who I loved your interview with him, by the way.
Thank you.
And that's how I met guys like Nick Acker and stuff, and all that crowd, and Suthuai, however you say his name, and the Pliny stuff. I was into that for a while, but my biggest influence is probably Opeth. They're my number one, and then bands like the Contortionist, all that genty stuff, and I'm really into like the post rock shoegaze stuff. I love Alcest. They're one of my favorites. And just like the prog stuff, the good, like the classics, like Rush.
We'll get there.
Like, yeah. In terms of like my bass playing, it's probably most inspired by like Geddy Lee, like that type of stuff. But in terms of what I bring to the band, when we started writing our second album, I was really into like the emo stuff, like American Football, Mineral, the Hotelier was a big one, and like they said, Weezer. I actually didn't like Weezer until I joined the band, and then it was like I was the one that didn't like Weezer, and then it became like they all moved on from Weezer, but I was like, guys.
Weezer though.
dude, have you heard this? And they're all like, yeah. We have. And the album Pinkerton was probably one of my number one inspirations for the new album. It was like that album and LP1 by American Football were huge, and then like La Dispute and Home Like No Place Is There by the Hotelier. Those are all that's really what I listened to when I wrote a lot of those songs on the second album. And now I'm in a weird like kick where I'm just like I'm just listening to like movie soundtracks and like jazz and like classical music and like noise. I don't know. I'm a music major. I just can't listen to whatever.
Yeah,
it's kind of all over the place.
Also, shout outs to Nick of Kaguu. I know I've also had them on as well. So shouts to Nick.
Oh, I need to watch that. I would go get my Kaguu shirt right now.
Ooh.
Yeah. I actually I'm gonna sound like a total hipster, but I met Nick before he was even in Kaguu. I just remember he commented on one of my solo EPs and was like, "Hey man, this is sick," and like he was the only comment, and he was like, "Did you do all this drumming yourself?" I'm like, "Yeah." And then he started watching my Let's Plays, and then me and him just became bros. And then I remember one day just when I was recording my first full-length solo album, I was just like, I really want to play drums because my first instrument was drums, but I have no way to record it, and I don't have enough money to go in the studio. So I just messaged Nick on Discord like, "Hey man, can I ask you for a favor?" He was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I was like, "Can you record drums for my album?" And then I just like paid him, and then yeah, he's been my drummer for the past 2 albums. My last one was called Anywhere But Here by Sensei Josh, the little plug, and he did all the drumming on it.
Real subtle.
Hey man. But I'm kind of on hiatus with that project, and I'm more focusing on Milfoil right now because I've always wanted to be in a band. So
There we go. Well, slight plug to Josh for sure. Go check out his stuff. But I felt like no, zero shame. But the thing, because I listened to Rose before I came on. I know I talked to Alex a bit about it, and I was just like, I usually have this like not game, but this kind of idea of like what type of band the band sounds like before I come on, and I was like, I like to hear about influences and stuff to see whether or not like the sounds kind of match up, or if they're just like completely left field and it's just gonna throw me for a loop, and I'm gonna be like up till 3 a.m. like just like in a stoop, just like how do they like these bands? Why? It doesn't make sense. Like, you know, I look like Charlie Day and like, you know, It's Always Sunny and just have like a bunch of like wires and band photos. It doesn't make any sense. But I felt like with your stuff, like it definitely reminded me a lot of like, because I'm old as fuck and I love like Weezer too. So like I was like listening to it and I was like, yeah, this definitely has like a Weezer like I'm trying to think. There was definitely another band that came to mind, like
the Wonder Years.
I would say maybe
kind of
more.
What I Rose specifically, my idea was like, all right, I'm gonna write like just a pop punk song. I'm just gonna make it a pop punk song. It's gonna be like just the Wonder Years. That's like, and I just was like, yeah, sure.
It kind of sounded like an emo kind of punk track, like in the in betweens of that. Like, I think another band I was thinking of was like Jimmy Eat World, kind of a little bit, and that vibe. Like, I was definitely like in that sort of realm, but obviously, you know, there's a lot more that goes on between that, and you guys have a mass of different, you know, influences between that. So I'm sure there's a lot of variation amongst the record, which kind of the segue to the next question I'm going to be asking is, you know, obviously you guys, you know, most people that are checking this out may be unfamiliar with your music, but what would be one track that you would recommend if you're like, this is the Milfoil track, you got to listen to this one? Could be one that's coming out, you know, on an upcoming release, or one that's already out now.
Oh man, my favorite is Simulated Sympathy. I could listen to that one all day long. Alex had written that one. I remember me and him were working on it in his bedroom, like tiny little bedroom. We like fit a drum set in there and stuff, and like it was like 10th grade, 11th. When was that?
I don't know.
It was like around like 12th grade, and like
it was primitive.
We were like playing it, like could not stop smiling. I was like, "This is sick, dude! Oh my god!"
Mm-hmm.
And I've always had that feeling about it. So that one's always one I point people to.
Yeah, that one really was the breakthrough one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it really short and say, if you're listening to Milfoil for the first time, listen to Metro, because that is easily the most accessible one. I think just like right off the bat, you know, like that is like, I feel like if you put Milfoil to one of our songs, it'd have to be Metro in its appeal.
Mm-hmm. I would say either Rose, or we actually have one coming out this Friday called Wistful. I would say one of those because I just feel like there's been a big improvement, especially in the mixing, because I learned a lot through this past year, so I think I did a much better job mixing this time around. And I think definitely Rose, or the new one coming out, is the best one to listen to, or just wait for the full album. Yeah.
I would agree. Like, obviously I had listened to Rose and I kind of, you know, listened to some like live stuff that you guys like people have taken like video of you guys playing live, and I was checking out some of this stuff like as I was scarfing down my dinner, and I was just like, and I listened to Rose intently because like it's the newest track, and I was just like, I got to listen to this one because I feel like, you know, obviously it's the newest one, people are gonna be like, that's the one people I think are gonna see mostly, and I thought it was really good. It's kind of like I said earlier, a mix of like emo, a little bit of punk, there's a little bit of pop punk in there. I'd say probably like earlier 2000s like pop punk, not like whatever people are listening to now in terms of pop punk. I feel like it's like a little bit more classic pop punk music. So I was about it. I'm just old as shit, so I think I enjoyed it because I'm just old as shit. So that there was just some nostalgia pull to me. But the next question, guys, keeping it more current, what have you guys been listening to lately? What's on the Spotify? What have you guys been jamming as of recently?
I guess I'll go.
You go, Josh.
I've been listening to a lot of podcasts recently. So I've oddly been like, I just graduated.
Congrats.
From being a music major, and you would think like I would like keep diving into music, but
I feel
summer,
that though.
I've oddly like not been listening to as much music. Like I went home from graduating and I was really into Tool for a while. Like it was just like bad. Like I would only listen to Tool. It was weird. And then but now I've just been listening to like not a lot, just podcasts. I've been listening to there's this movie called Heat, and I've just been listening to like the ending theme for some like the ending credits. Like the theme that plays during the credits is just like amazing. So I just put that on loop today and like blasted it while I was in the Starbucks drive-thru, and it was like, oh! And then I don't know. It's just I've been listening to a lot of jazz, just like weird shit. I tried getting into rap. Still trying. I was like, I'm gonna get into rap, so I put on a Kanye album because I've never liked rap, but I'm starting to get to the point where like, all right, it doesn't matter. I need to get rid of my bias. Like I believe there's good in every genre. You just gotta find it. So I started a Kanye album. I tapped out after 2 songs. It went straight to Megadeth. I was like, I can't. But then I gave it another shot, and then I've listened to 3 of his albums now, and I'm finally starting to get into it. So. Yeah, it's been weird. I don't really know what to do.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Song that I found like 2 days ago that I've been listening to a lot is "Say Less" by Nothing. Just came out. I just really enjoy it. It sounds cool, so check that out. I guess I don't know. I just like looked at my Spotify, like, what am I listening to?
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of modern baseball. I work at a farm, and we're always like playing random stuff on there. So usually I'll like be working, somebody will play something. I'm like, oh, what's that? And then I'll just play it on my ride back home. So I'm listening to all kinds of weird stuff. But as far as like pretty consistently lately, a lot of Captain Jack and let's see. Yeah, just stuff like that. It's been all over the place as always. I had a friend recommend like a bunch of choral music to me the other day. All kinds of weird stuff.
Yeah, I think when you're really involved in music, it's really good just constantly, just all over the place, just broadening your horizons as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want to say before I say mine that I know like ever since I've known Joe, it's just been like the more obscure and the more like hard to find it is, the better.
I also like the pop stuff too.
Oh, yeah,
I feel like it's just whatever makes your ears feel good. It's really exciting to like find. So yeah, we were always growing up just like sending each other. He's like, dude, check this out. You just like, I remember we found like this channel. What was the YouTube channel? We like sat in the music room in like high school. We found this music that like if you turn the bass up really high, it would like make your ears vibrate really cool. We just like sit there like during study hall, just like cranking the weird. What was that channel?
It was like some instrumental like trap.
It was all instrumental trap stuff, but we were just like sitting there like just eating it up. So.
Yeah. I think I've been kind of like, I don't know. I've been really like focusing hard on certain like albums that I have. So basically the problem is that my phone is broken now. so I don't have Amazon Music, which is such a detriment, you know. But I've been listening strictly to the CDs that I have in my car, and I mean, this is gonna sound familiar, but like Josh said, I've just been like listening to Enema by Tool, like on loop over and over again. I'm trying to experiment a lot more with like both like the heavier side of music that I'm still getting used to. Like, I mean, I would never credit Josh to this, but I'm like trying to get more into metal.
Why not?
Because I can hear your ego just like. Anyway, so I've been trying to listen to like some heavy stuff, and then I also have like this weird. I'm on this weird indie trip, which is kind of unlike me, I think. But if anybody knows the Japanese House, and what are they called? Snail Mail?
Yeah, Snail Mail.
Well, that's pretty well-known stuff, though, I want to call it. I guess it's
like indie pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love Snail Mail, so we've been listening to a lot of Snail Mail.
Yeah.
I'd also agree. I like Snail Mail. She's great. I actually, side tangent story. I went to this like local record store, and she was playing. And I was just browsing. I was like browsing the store, right? And I didn't even realize it was her. And then I was like listening on the radio. I was like, this song sounds like too familiar, right? Like you get that moment where you're like, I already know this song, and it's just like this doesn't sound like. So I like Googled it on my phone, and I was just like, what song is this? And it was Snail Mail. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I just saw her like not even that long ago, and I was like freaking out because I was like, I could have like bought her CD or like vinyl or whatever or met her, and then I was just like, oh well. I think that was one of the main reasons why I like kind of try to continue doing this is because like there's so many obscure bands out there that it's like if you really spend the time to look or you're really searching for stuff, like you're gonna find really great music. And obviously I'm glad to have you guys amongst the roster of bands that I've had on here at this point. So definitely go check out Milfoil, guys, if that wasn't already clearly evident, but go do it anyway. But anyway, guys, next question, a fun one. If you guys could pick a song to cover, what would it be?
Ooh.
This Charming Man by the Smiths.
Joe does a great Morrissey impression.
It's really bad. But Charming Man. Just like start screaming it, and it's like I love that song so much. I'd love to see how Milfoil tackle it. We probably butcher it. I don't care. It would be a lot of fun.
Josh?
I think about this question every day, and it changes every day. It's pretty much just the last song I listened to, but I would love to do something by Rush, mostly because I get to play Geddy Lee stuff and be like, "Yo, look at me." Probably like Red Barchetta or maybe something off Hemispheres, something like that. I don't know if it would fit Milfoil. In more terms of like what would fit Milfoil would probably be like Never Meant by American Football, because why not?
Alex?
There's one, like, because we've spoilers for future Milfoil, but we've pondered a lot about like what a cover album would look like, and the one song that I keep coming back to is this song called Eternal Yesterday by Somos. And I feel like favorites. Not only does that one have like a huge like meaning for me and probably for you too. It's very like Milfoilian. Like we could easily cover that one.
I remember I'd found that song at a very like just the right time when you find a song. Just like listen to what you're like. I was just like walking. It was like 2 a.m. Like I was going to get pizza or something like that, and just like listen to that over and over and over again. Just like, so yeah, that's a special one for sure.
Ooh, all right. Well, guys, if you like the Somos idea or any of the other ideas that you have here, or you got a suggestion of your own, drop them in the comments. I'm sure they'll go check it out. Then maybe you might wind up on the cover record. Who knows? But you might as well put your suggestion down below. But anyway, guys.
No comment on Taylor Swift.
I've covered Taylor Swift before. I covered Red, and it was fun.
Music.
I don't know if I'm gonna plead the fifth on that answer, but Joe kind of segued into my next question, which is another fun one. Favorite food to eat? What's your go-to?
Favorite food?
Favorite food.
I like Honey Nut Cheerios. Had some of those like 20 minutes ago. It's pretty good. I don't know.
As you can tell, we're very like we have this whole like object permanence problem. Whatever the last thing was.
Yep.
Whatever.
I'm a big burger kind of guy, but I don't eat meat. So fake
He
burgers.
likes all like the fake meat stuff. Yeah.
I like fake meat
I do
stuff.
too.
I would agree.
I've been I was a vegetarian for like 7 years, but I've recently, because of the pandemic, started eating fish again, so it was like easier for my parents to buy me stuff.
What does the fish have to do with the pandemic?
Because it's easier for like my parents to buy me stuff because
okay.
it's like
fair.
easier than just like, oh, what like Beyond Meat do you want? Because some of it's not good, but some of it's great, so it's just easier for them. So I'd have to say the best food I've ever tasted is ahi tuna steaks. It's just like tuna, but it's like a steak, and you just like cook it I just put olive oil and then put it on a really high heat and then just go whoosh, and then do it for like a minute and then flip it, and it's like raw in the middle, and it's so I eat like 3. I'm just like, oh, I just inhale them. So as soon as I go back to being a vegetarian, I'm gonna miss those a lot.
Oh, rip to Josh for
it's fine.
In this moment of eating fish, but he'll come back to this interview and be like, hey, look, in a moment of weakness I ate fish. So there you go. But next question, guys, getting back to the music stuff, if you could pick somebody to collaborate with, whether it be a guest feature on your next record or a producer you'd like to work with in the future, who would it be?
I'm gonna have to think on that one. So
yeah,
I got a good answer. I've always wanted to do a song with Sam Cole from Sea in the Sky. Past 2 albums we were intending to do a song together, but it never worked out. He was always busy or something. We got really close, but then he was just busy, and then I ended up getting Kyle to sing on my album instead, which he did a great job. But I've always wanted to work with him. I met him at a Chan show once. He was just like at the merch table, and I was like, dude, like this is the singer of Sea in the Sky, and everyone's like, who? I'm like, this is the Sea in the Sky. They're one of like the best bands ever. And then I just walked up to him. I'm like, yo, what's up? And then, and I was like, are you Sam from Sea in the Sky? He's like, yeah. And then I was like, I don't know if you remember me, but I sent you one of my albums once on Facebook. And he was like, oh yeah, I remember you. And then we just talked, and then it was like really, really fun. So he's one of my favorite singers ever. He's so underrated. That whole band in general they're like one of the best bands I've ever heard in my life. But like, they're so underrated. So probably him.
I'm gonna have to go with a band called So Badly. My friend Annie was a drummer for them a couple years back, down in Virginia. And I really like their sound. You can check them out on Bandcamp. I've heard their guitarist just like shreds and goes nuts on stage. And like, I don't know, Annie would tell me stories about them playing shows and just like sometimes having like a really small crowd and like they weren't too into it, so they just like go insane and just like play like one song for like 20 minutes, just like going nuts with the sound. So like, I don't know, it just sounds like a really fun group of people to play music with. So I'd like to, that'd be cool someday maybe to go down there and work with them.
I thinking about it now, I would actually love to see if Jack's old band, Perfume Department, would want to play anything, because I really liked like their sound when I heard what they had.
Yeah, me too.
Also on Bandcamp.
Also, totally not a plug.
They're not a band anymore, so it's technically not a plug.
But yeah,
are they not a band anymore?
No, they're broke up. If
Oh,
they
really?
got back together,
Then it would be a plug.
That would be
Calls Jack right now. Hey, man.
like, yeah.
I would I'll throw another one out there. I've always wanted to. The dream was always to get Pliny on one of your songs, because I remember in like 2015 where like every like instrumental prog band would just release an album, like the third track would just be Feet Plany. I was like, man, does this guy sleep? He's like, like
He's
this
almost-
band is like 2 listeners on Spotify, and then all of a sudden he just stopped. Like no one had him on a song. I was like, I think he made like a roll.
He had to have made so much money in that time span.
But he's such a unique guitarist, and like there's bands that have blown up because he's played with them. So like, and I was always just in my head be like, yo, one day I'm just gonna ask him. He's gonna do it.
Now's the time to ask him. Pliny, if you come
Pliny.
on the, we're putting it out in the universe. If you'd like to be on a Milfoil track, make sure to DM them. It sounded very.
Really interesting.
The closest thing I got to that is when Kyle did a solo on one of my songs, a guitar solo, and it sounded like Pliny too, and it was just like really cool. And to me, Kyle was like famous, so it's just a big deal because I remember he released his like Pliny type album, and then I was like, yo, this guy's really good, and he had Yvette Young on a song, and then I was just asking Nick, it would be crazy if like he got to play on my song, and then he's like, oh, I kind of know him, I can ask him, and then he just put us in a group chat, and I'm like, this is the best day ever. And then he sent me the song. I was like in the school cafeteria at our college, and I just like listened to it on my phone, and I was just like blown away, like, what the hell, like this is my song, like this doesn't sound like my song anymore, he just made it better. Anyways, just a little tangent.
Shouts to Kyle. Love you, Kyle. Anyway, next question, guys. Since you guys are all mostly music majors, if there was another musical instrument you could master, what would it be and why?
Right now, I'm trying to learn the mandolin.
Oh,
It's really hard. I would love to get good at the mandolin. I've been listening to a lot of like bluegrass and kind of folk punk this summer. Just like a lot of my friends at the farm have been listening to it, and so I was just like hearing the mandolin and stuff, and it's like a percussion instrument, even though it's stringed. It kind of like has like almost a snares part in like a bluegrass group. So I've just been like really digging the sound of that. So I bought a mandolin this summer, and I've been plucking away. Not going well, but we'll get there eventually. But that's what I would like to get good at right now.
Who's next?
I play a little bit, but I've always wanted to be a pianist, like a really just that guy that just like, oh hey, there's a piano here, just like opens it and just like just shreds some like classical, and everyone's like, what the hell? And I play a little bit of piano, but I'd love to just be really good at it. It's my favorite instrument to listen to. So yeah, I just love to, even like I love to play a lot of jazz piano and stuff. And I don't have a piano, which I can't practice, and that's really unfortunate. But
I guess I would say drum.
ooh.
I think I would love to like up my like percussion game. That might sound weird coming from me, just because like I'm the kind of guy who's like totally okay if there are no drums in a song. Like I'm just like, yeah, no, it's fine. It doesn't need drums. But I feel like you can get pretty flashy. And originally, when I was younger, I was a percussionist, but I never really got onto the drum kit before. So I just really want to sort of work on that, I think.
There we go. I feel like I am like a million for a million with guitar players that want to be drummers, because I also play guitar and I'd love to learn how to play drums. I don't know if it's maybe there's some like mental correlation with like not being able to use your hand.
Whoa, all right.
I think it's.
Just
What
the
were you saying,
natural
Josh?
thing.
drums are my favorite instrument to play when someone's watching. I don't know why, but like when someone's there watching me play, I love drums because I can just be like, oh, look at this. But like I can't really do that. I can do the tapping thing in guitar, and sometimes you're like, yo, it's cool. But drums are fun to just be like, yo, and just kind of go crazy. So
I just want to have like hand-feet coordination, which is non-existent. So I feel like that would be my goal for at least the rest of this year, maybe. But the next question, guys, my personal favorite, because I'm a nerd and I love asking it. If you guys could be a video game character, who would you be?
ooh, that's hard. I got one. Ness from Earthbound.
Ooh.
I was gonna say Lucas from Mother 3, but I feel so bad for him in that game that I would not want to. But
That's true.
because that Mother 3 is one of, in terms of storyline, my favorite game. But Earthbound, it just blew me away when I played it. It's just so, just like you're going on an adventure. It's just so goofy. And I don't know. I just love it. It's just one of my favorite games.
Dude, I don't play that many video games. I don't know. As far as like Nintendo characters would go, probably like a Goomba or something like that. I like playing Dr. Mario in Smash, so I guess Dr. Mario.
Not bad. This one will be obvious if you know me, but definitely I would want to be the Heavy from Team Fortress 2. You know, we got a lot in common. Like, he's a giant, smart Russian guy. I'm a giant, smart Russian guy.
I eat a lot of sandwiches.
Yeah, I usually do, actually.
I would like to be the spy from TF2. So I would love to have that much like charisma. Just be like, hey.
Yeah.
There we go.
I feel like I don't have to explain the Heavy too much. It's just, you know, just a great guy.
If you know, you know.
Give him enough props.
I would like to be Captain Price from Modern Warfare.
Ooh. Ooh. There we go, guys. Well, I'm glad you guys got some great answers. You know, definitely struck the nerd heart. You know, for sure.
My second choice before going into college was to be like a video game designer. So I had to make like a choice between music and video games, and I chose music, but I still love my video games.
You could do that too. I mean, you could do like scores for video games. I feel like.
Yeah, I've actually done that before. It's just like every team I've worked with just fizzles out, and then I finish my songs in like a day. I'm like, here you go, here's a song, and then I make like a full soundtrack. But like the programmers are still working on getting the guy to like move right. I'm just, it just takes forever.
Wow. Next question, guys. Another music-related question. If you guys were to compile a dream tour lineup, who would be on it?
Ooh. Like, would we be a band in the lineup, or
yes,
just a lineup that we go see? Ooh.
Oh, like we're playing with other bands and we
correct.
Have to,
yeah.
That's tough.
Dang.
That's really tough. I would love to tour with like the Contortionist and Opeth, obviously, just because I feel like Mikhail would just be in the back, like, who are you guys? I'd be like, Milfoil. He's like, oh. And that'd be it.
Oh.
All right.
And then Mike would be like, yo, like, what are you guys like influenced by? And then just getting to watch those guys every night would be insane. So I've always I annoy Nick about Nick and Kyle, but I've always wanted to like be like, yo guys, like, I don't care that we sound completely different, but let's just tour like right now. I don't give a shit. Let's go. And just have like archaeologists, Kaguu, Milfoil, and then that's like the dream.
I'd really like to play with Alex G. I think that'd be really cool. He's like super prolific, and I haven't heard a song by him that I don't love. I think he'd just be a cool guy to hang out with. I don't know. I want to know what's going on in that dude's brain, but I'm just in love with that guy's music. So like, getting to like travel with him for a bit would be really cool for sure.
There's a band called Eternity Forever.
Yes.
And I would love, like, it's like a nice, like, it's kind of jazzy, but not like painfully jazzy. But I feel like they have like the same, I feel like they're almost in like the same vein in terms of like tone and timbre. I mean, for our softer stuff, like this new album, I think we're probably a lot closer, except for Rose. I mean, you know,
yeah,
pop punk. But like a lot of our softer, cleaner stuff, like I would love if we could get to a point that we're as technical as Eternity Forever, because that would just be like the most amazing. You know, we all have our own, like every instrument has like its place. Yeah. It really just, you know, it stands out no matter what. So touring with that would be super cool.
I feel like that would be cool. I know that the guitar player, one of the guitar players from Chan, who used to be in Chan, was the guitar player for Eternity Forever. So
I didn't know that.
I know that they're kind of like currently disbanded, but I don't know if they have any plans to, you know, reform or whatever, but fingers crossed. Maybe we'll see it someday. But next question, guys, another fun one. Favorite TV show, favorite movie.
I think me and Alex might have the same answer.
Yeah, Josh and I have the same answer.
Napoleon Dynamite is the best movie ever created.
Okay, can I give TV?
Sit there and watch that movie all day long. Like the first time I watched it, it was like 2 a.m. middle of the summer, and I like was not falling asleep 3 times in a row.
For Pedro.
It's so good.
I love it.
Yep.
So
TV.
Can I give a TV show and a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, TV show and movie, both. Yeah.
Can I do an animated show as
Do
well?
it!
I could
Get it,
never pick between the two, but it's everyone's gonna guess it. But Avatar: The Last Airbender and Breaking Bad. Just if you haven't seen them, I'm sorry for your loss. But I just showed Alex and Jack Breaking Bad for the first time. It was like my 5th time watching it, and I just like got them to watch it. I just remember when they started it, it was like, yeah, this is all right. But then by the end, they were like, it was just really cool to see someone experience Breaking Bad for the first time. And then for movies, it changes like every day, but I gotta give it to Godfather Part 2 because it's just no movie's made me feel like that, and it has my favorite ending of a movie ever. And it's just one of those movies where when you watch it, you're like, what? But then once like you let it sit for 2 days, you're like, what? Then, yeah, I just love movies like that. So
yeah, so basically I watched TV for 10 years straight after I was born, and then stopped watching it for like the rest of my life. Basically, I haven't seen any like adult TV show ever until Josh showed me Breaking Bad, and I was like I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but like it's great. It's like,
it is
Better
great.
Call Saul is great too.
You know, I don't need to get into it too much because I'll start geeking out, I think. But my favorite movie, and I rewatched this recently.
Yeah.
So Josh also like shows me a lot of cinema stuff, but I think I still have to give it to iRobot with Will Smith. It's just such a childhood classic for me, and it was
When
fun.
he gives the guy the pie, he's like,
That's
that's like another thing I remember.
I don't remember, it was a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
It was like
It's amazing.
it holds up so much better than I expected to, and it was just such a charming.
Shout outs to Will Smith.
Shout outs to Will Smith. Plug Will Smith.
Will Smith, if you're watching this, please give us a shout out.
Will Smith, if you're watching this, which I know you watch my content, I really appreciate it. Shout outs to Will Smith. If you'd like to be in the next Milfoil music video, I mean, I'm sure they would be super down for that.
Oh my gosh.
There we go.
That's right, you said that.
I do have to agree with the whole like iRobot that. And also, like, I'm sure you guys have seen, or maybe not, have seen I Am Legend. That's another, like, classic, like, Will Smith movie. I feel like those two movies, like, obviously, like, Men in Black's great, too. But, like, I don't know. For me, iRobot and, like, and I Am Legend.
Is good too.
That's another good one. I feel like he's always got, like...
After Earth.
I feel like he's got definitely a good solid... He had, like, a good stint of time where he was just making, like, really good movies. So... Shout outs to Will Smith. Be in the next Milfoil music video. I'm just saying. You know, I'm just putting my opinion out there on the internet, which is everybody. But you know, my opinion matters just a little bit more because now I have a YouTube channel. So you know, of course, I'm saying. But next question, guys. If you were trapped on a desert island for the next month and there was one record you could bring with you, what would it be?
My answer came pretty quick. I would definitely bring what's it called? 22 A Million by Bon Iver.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, I think for me the reason I say that is just because it's so like there's so much like texture, you know, in the sound. Like I could just keep listening and like find something new every time. So that's an easy one for me.
Probably Always, their self-titled album is really good, and I listen to it like all the time. It's just like super relaxing, super catchy, just like some solid pop songs. I love Always, so I would probably bring that, at least right now.
Josh?
Either Ghost Reveries by Opeth or Kodama by Alcest. Either one of those.
Ooh.
You can pick. I'll go Ghost Reveries because it's longer, so I get more music out of it.
There you go. Smart move, Josh.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Last thing, guys, the most important thing, the reason you're on here. Tell them about your band, Milfoil, where they can find you at on social media, and anything you guys got coming up in the next couple months.
We got a new album that should be dropping by the end of the month. It's our second album. We recorded it in last December, or January actually, January 2nd, 2019, and I've just been mixing it, and that's what Rose is gonna be on, and Whistle is gonna be on. So yeah, check that out. I think it's the best thing I've ever been a part of, just hands down. I think it came out, I was so happy with how it came out, where like I just kind of stopped like making music for a while because I was just like, I already made like a really good album. Sounds kind of weird, but it just kind of put me in a weird state, where I was just really happy with it, and I can't wait for people to hear it. Yeah, I'm really excited.
We're all over social media. Check us out on Instagram's where we're most active, but we also have a Facebook page, YouTube, whatever you're interested in. We got a Bandcamp, or obviously find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, whatever's most convenient for you, iTunes. We're all over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bunch of new stuff. We've really evolved, and we have our own flavor now, Milfoil flavor.
I don't like that.
And
I don't like that.
He's gone.
Watch Mojo Top 10 walkout interviews.
I thought that No Sharp Objects was going to be my magnum opus, and I was horribly wrong. Because this new album, it's good, but like this new album like blew me away, and like I am shocked. I am shocked that like it came out so like amazing.
Like it's I listened to it like way more than I would like to admit. Like people for some reason have this like attitude where like it's bad to listen to your own music for some reason. But which I never really understood, because I'm just like, I'm proud of it, but even considering that, I listen to it way more than I should, because it's just there's something about like, oh, I'm in this, that makes it like if the quality of the music is here, your opinion is either way over here or way over here because you're in it. You know, it's like you're either gonna be like, it's amazing or it sucks. So I just love listening to it, which is kind of weird to admit, but I mean, it's like all my influences in one album, so why not? You know.
Yeah, I think please, like everybody watching right now, please keep in mind that as a band, we've listened and played these songs like hundreds, if not thousands, of times together. Ooh. So to say that like these songs are not like they haven't grown old on us is like really impressive, especially to me. You know,
I think so long. I wouldn't be a part of a band if I didn't feel like we were evolving and progressing in sound, and I think that's one thing that I really admire about our group is that I don't know. I think we found something really special where we're able to continue evolving, continue growing while looking back and appreciating what we've made. We still have fun playing music. We don't have fun playing a song, we don't play it. So we we've had a couple of those, but you know, like I don't know, we have fun with what we're doing, and we hope that shows through listening.
Look it up.
Yeah.
And it's important to note that we basically made both these albums on zero budget. We just kind of made them all of ourselves. We recorded them in our college studio. And then I mixed them out. Me and Alex did the recordings, and then so it's all it's all DIY pretty much. And then the improvement sounds like we took 3 years off, but it was only like a year between like our improvement still amazes me. And the first album, it was cool to be a part of because Alex and Joe wrote most of the songs, so it was kind of like came in after all the songs were written. But for this album was the first time where me and Pete got to write stuff for the album. So there's a big variety. It's almost like No Sharp Objects is kind of like in terms of like heavy and soft, it's kind of like in the middle. But then like this album is like has softer parts but also heavier parts, which I like. And then it's just
involved.
Yeah. and it's really cool to have like all of our influences in one, because there's stuff that fans of the old album will still like Rose is kind of like that, and then there's like stuff that's like completely different, which is really great. So
I mean, if Joe's coming back to the band, I feel like that's an impressive note. You know, I feel like, you know, when you have, and to kind of piggyback on what Josh was saying earlier about like, I mean, I personally don't have a problem when bands listen to their own music. I mean, I feel like if you love what you've written, like, and you're listening to it, like, I feel like that's a really big sell to me, at least, as like, you know, somebody who does this, because I'm like thinking to myself, like, if they're not listening to their stuff, and they're not to say that bands aren't proud of what they write or whatever, but I feel like if you're a band and you're listening to your stuff and you're like, I really love listening to my music, and that sounds super narcissistic for me to say right now, but like, I do feel like it really sells me, that band, that much more so, because I'm like, they really enjoy their music and they're not getting tired of literally playing their music or like listening to their music, you know, many times before you know, fans actually hear it. So go check out Milfoil. Seriously, very cool dudes. Granted that this is the first time I've met all of them, so this is very awesome. Shouts to Kyle of Archaeologist.
He set this up, yeah.
He set this up, so I got to give him the major salutes. But
one shout out to Kyle is when I sent him Rose before I released it, and he had probably the best reaction I've ever gotten, where he said, I was like, did you like the style of it? And he said, yeah, it's very Weezer, without me telling him the meme that we're Weezer core. And then I was like, oh, cool. And then he says, like, quote, that's not a bad thing, by the way. It's better than just releasing another instrumental math rock song and then having everyone comment, this sounds like John. So I was like, yeah. So
oh man.
So that made me it's almost like 5 years ago our music would be like oversaturated and like boring, but like it's odd that like now it's unique almost. Like, to be a pop punk band, it's like more unique than being, no offense to the bands that are like super talented that do all the cool stuff. I love that stuff, but like it's very oversaturated, and it's been the last like 3 or 5 years, so it's interesting like how that kind of shifted, and then maybe in 3 years everyone's gonna be copying Milfoil again. I don't know.
Well,
so,
I totally agree with that in some aspect. I mean, I feel like anything has gray areas in it, certainly, but
for sure, yeah.
You should go check out Milfoil. It's the most important thing. That's why you're on here. That's, you know, why you came to check it out. So go check the links in the description, find out about their band, their music. Go follow them on Spotify so you know when the latest track comes out, and you can be, you know, one of the cool people that knows when a Milfoil track drops, and then you can just be like, yo, it's out here. It's out here. It's so great.
You wish can be in the club that knows it's a plant. You're like, did I know? I watched the audio addiction.
I watched the interview. I know it's a plant.
Shout out to Audio Addiction, by the way.
Yeah, honestly, like, you deserve one. This was like, it sounds kind of cheesy, but like, it's been my dream to get interviewed, so this was really cool. And 2, like, I love your content, and you deserve way more views. Like, I was listening to your Kyle, like one with Kyle, and I'm like, I just had it in the background while I was video editing. I'm like, this is really enjoyable, and
thank you.
It's really nice. So.
Oh my God. Well, I'm gonna go jump off. No, okay. But go check out
an audio addiction interview.
Yeah. This concludes the interview. Go check out, like I said, Milfoil. All of the links will be in the description. Please go support these dudes. They're super nice, and they make great music. Check out Rose. I'll leave a link to go check that song out as well. Make sure to go subscribe to them, because that's the whole reason why you're on here and you're checking it out. And if you enjoy this interview, share it, like it, subscribe. It goes a long way. Make sure to go tweet at Will Smith so you can see him in the next Milfoil music video. I'm just saying, if this is if this is a hill to die on, I want to die on the Will Smith hill. That sounded very terrible. I don't know if that's completely gonna get taken out of context at some point.
Made Suicide Squad dialogue sound not that bad, so
that's true. So
it takes a real hero to do that.
There you go. Shouts to Will Smith, and also shouts to Milfoil for coming on tonight. Yoshi. And Baby Yoshi.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.